Hey guys, what's good? This is the February 2026 edition of Shane's New York Yankees podcast. Okay, so like I said, I'll be doing one of these a month. And let's just start off with, since the last time I was on, which was my first episode in January, the Yankees have made multiple transactions. Most importantly, bringing Cody Bellinger back and re-signing Cody Bellinger back to the team. A 5-year deal, but 2 opt-outs. After 2 years of his contract, he can opt out. So basically, we have Cody for 2 years assured, and then he could opt out after year 2. He could also opt out after year 3, I believe, and then he can't opt out anymore. So, we'll see. I mean, he would have to have 2 huge years to even consider opting out because the overall value of the contract will pay him, I believe, around $32 million a year on average. It's a front-loaded contract where he's being paid actually over $40 million the first 2 years, and then lesser money as the contract goes on. Hey, look, I always said all along to people that I know that if there was any free agent that the Yankees had that I would want to bring back, it would be Cody, because Cody can play outfield and he can play first base. And, in the future, I still see Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones as parts of this team. And to do that, I would see Cody playing more first base along with Ben Rice, and then Cody could still get outfield repetition and Ben Rice could still get catcher repetition. So everybody can play, get good playing time, playing multiple positions, Cody and Ben Rice. But we'll see what happens. Also, I see when Stanton isn't here in a couple of years, some of that DH play is going to go to Aaron Judge probably. Could also go to Spencer Jones, or Spencer Jones could play more outfield, whatever. We'll see what happens. Angel Chiavelli, a reliever, was acquired from the Colorado Rockies. He had a high ERA last year, but the guy has the talent. He needs to put it together. So this guy throws 97 mile an hour plus fastball. He's got other good breaking pitches. I believe a slider that's pretty good. We'll see what happens going forward with him. I think Matt Blake, the pitching coach, is going to have fun, working with him. And then Ryan Weathers. That was, to me, a good acquisition from the Marlins, where, they're getting a guy who could start and he could relieve. And he's pitched very well the last couple of years as a starter for the Marlins. So this is just one of these guys that they could put in the starting rotation to start the season off until Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon are back. Eventually, I could see Weathers going back to the bullpen. If somehow he is pitching better than, say, Luis Gil or even Cam Schlittler, which I don't see because I think Schlittler is definitively real deal, but I think Luis Gil is really good, could be really good too. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But either way, some guys are going to the bullpen. Will Warren, Luis Gil, Ryan Weathers, because some guys are going to the bullpen. And, and that's where people don't understand. The long-term lookout on this team is that some of our starters are going to be bullpen pitchers. So those spots that you're looking at in the bullpen where you're kind of like iffy right now, soon you're going to be like, wow, that's something. We got this guy pitching out of the bullpen when he can actually be a starter. So like Ryan Yarbrough was looked at as that 5th guy until Cole and Rodon come back, and now Yarbrough is going to probably start the year out in the bullpen because I don't see him probably beating out Weathers or Gil for a rotation spot now to start. But we'll see what happens. And they're still saying that the Yankees, are rumored to even be looking at another starter or, multiple right-handed bats in the outfield. Randall Grichuk, I read, or even bringing Austin Slater back, which I'm like, why? Why are we doing that? Just kind of like, why did we bring back Paul Blackburn? I mean, did we really bring back Paul Blackburn more for competition? Because I could see him getting traded or DFA'd even before the season starts. Because I'm like looking at the roster and I'm like, where is Paul Blackburn even going to fit in with as many pitchers as we have? And they're only paying him $2 million. So if they DFA'd him, it's $2 million. I mean, it's still $2 million. So it would look pretty bad if they DFA'd him right out of spring training. But I mean, you never know, you know? I mean, I'm just looking. I'm looking at the spots. Like, and I don't know. I don't know if Blackburn can really keep his spot right now, even at the start of the season, but we'll see. But that's it, guys. I mean, I could sit here. I don't want to make this where I repeat myself every episode just to keep prolonging a certain amount of time, even though I'm only going to do one of these a month. Like, oh, I have to do this for 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. I just kind of want to talk about what's happened since the last one that I recorded. Okay, so really, we've got these 3 moves. And then again, we've got other potential moves happening, you know, and again, they're still saying, well, it's a possibility. They could bring in a catcher, but there's no catchers out there. I mean, Gary Sanchez, you're going to bring him back as a reserve? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if you want a right-handed bat in there. But Brian Cashman, the GM, he was kind of like saying, you know, he didn't really see anything on the market right now. And like, basically that would lead me to think, well, JC Escara will be given that role, or preferably to me, it would just be letting Ben Rice, get the catcher reps as the reserve to Austin Wells, and then letting maybe Cody play first base those days that, you know, Ben Rice is catching, and then have somebody else play the outfield, Dominguez, Spencer Jones, whatever. So, you know, and then I just think there's just too many Yankee fans in this fan base. They don't understand you're not going to have a perfect player at every position, okay? So that's any team. No team has perfect players at every position or near that, okay? But you have respectable players, you know? And again, I still say Volpe, the shortstop, Anthony Volpe, is being shit on too much. And I do see why people are down on him, because of the errors mainly and the low batting average. But there are positives to Anthony Volpe. The home runs, the RBIs. He had a career high in RBI last year, 72 RBIs, I think. Yeah, guys, I agree. His average needs to go up. His errors need to go down. But I think I said this maybe the last episode, and I tell everybody that I know this. There's a guy named Ozzie Smith who is a Hall of Fame shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals, deemed one of the greatest defensive shortstops of all time. They call him the Wizard for a reason, because he looked like a wizard in the field. The thing is, if you look at his statistics, he had 5 years. I believe it was 5. I might be wrong. I'll look again and I'll confirm it for the next episode. 5 years where he had 20-plus error seasons. Who could ever imagine that for a guy that's won, I know, multiple Gold Gloves, I believe, 5 20-plus error seasons. Now, even though Anthony Volpe's only going into year 4, he has not had a 20-plus error season yet. Again, I'm not saying that he's been great in the field. He's made too many errors, but he does make a lot of great plays. Don't get me wrong. Just like any infield defensive player, they're going to make more great plays, but it's those errors that can backfire. They prolong the innings, give the teams the second chances, the third chances, and a lot of times it backfires. You know, it costs a team if you commit an error. It just seems to happen that way. But I would say Anthony Volpe, I still have full confidence that he's going to be, you know, a much better player. Like, I think a higher average hitter and, you know, 250s maybe, and then 20-plus home runs, and then less errors. So, you know, and I think Ryan McMahon, you know, this guy at third base, I mean, he's here for 2 more years. At least his contract says so. And this is a guy that's going to give you 20-plus home runs a year, a Gold Glove type third base glove. And, you know, again, a guy that I see his average is going to go up. Last year, he had a lower average season between Colorado and being with the Yankees for a very short time. I think he was like 218, 220, something like that. But a guy that his whole career has hit higher, at least in that 240, 250 range. So I think you're going to see the same thing. I think McMahon's going to come back and he's going to have a better year all around in terms of average, and his home runs are going to be there. And that's it. I mean, guys, sometimes you can't have the best at every position, but you have good players at every position on this roster. There is what I deem no bum players. That, like, you could sit here and call Volpe a bum. He's not a bum, guys. You're not a bum if you knock in 72 runs and hit almost 20 bombs. And I get it, the average is low, but a lot of Major League Baseball averages are low. Maybe not as low as 212, but still, that will be improved. Errors. Actually had multiple players commit more errors than he did last year. And I still say Jazz Chisholm, again, he's going to have to cut down on the errors. He was right behind Volpe in errors last year. I think Volpe had 19 and Jazz had 18. So, both guys got to cut down on their errors. That's for sure. But I just don't understand when I see, like, these Yankee fan pages, like Clint Frazier, ex-Yankee, doing his podcast like I'm doing here on YouTube. And I go back and forth with Clint, on his opinions. We go back and forth. And he's cool. He responds to everybody, really. But, like, Clint just thinks, I think he wants perfect players at everywhere. Like, he thinks somehow we're going to get somebody to replace Volpe, who's going into year 4, and, like, Ryan McMahon at third base. Bro, it's not happening. Like, this is the shortstop, this is the third baseman. And to start off the year, of course, Anthony Volpe, he's coming off a shoulder surgery. He's going to be on the IL, so probably Jose Caballero is going to be the starting shortstop to start the season. And I think Cashman made some kind of a comment like, well, hey, if Caballero plays well, then it's going to be a battle between him and Volpe, like, to see who gets more playing time. So he's kind of putting it out there to Volpe, like, hey, if Caballero plays exceptionally well, hey, then, you have to, like, really earn your spot back. And that's okay. I mean, that will be competition, and that will motivate Volpe to even come back and do better things. Guys, I think that this team is a stacked team. I hate the people that go back and say, well, this is a repeat of last year's team. No, that's incorrect. There's several guys that aren't back on this team that were on last year's team. Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, Paul Goldschmidt, maybe. That's the other rumor, that Paul Goldschmidt may be back as a reserve, right-handed bat off the bench. I'd be okay with that. But again, I don't see where everybody's going to stay on the roster. You already got Oswaldo Cabrera, Jose Caballero, Ahmad Rosario. You got those 3 guys as infield platoon-type players. Now, again, Caballero will start the year off as a starter probably at short. But when Volpe comes back, you got 3 guys. So how the fuck are you going to fit Goldschmidt in there? I don't know. Or you go with one less outfielder, I guess. But then, so outfield, right now we got Grisham, Judge, and say, Bellinger, right? And then slash Dominguez, Spencer Jones, whoever wins out of that. Usually you're going to carry 5 outfielders, but you go 4 outfielders, maybe an extra infielder. I don't know, guys. We'll see what happens. But when they say, well, they're fielding the same team, they're not fielding the same team, okay? And with guys not on the team anymore, Jonathan Loaizaga, that's another one that's not back. Mark Leiter Jr. is not back. I mean, they knocked off some of the worst players on this team. They got rid of them, okay? So now we've added some new players, okay, that weren't on this roster at all last year, like I just mentioned a couple. And, look, just because you have mostly the same roster doesn't mean you can't win a championship with that roster, okay? Because, again, this was one of the highest winning teams in baseball last year in season. They went into the playoffs. They had to play the wild card series. They finished tied with the exact same wins as Toronto, but lost the division on a tiebreaker. Garrett Cole was out the whole entire year, okay? So, guys, Clark Schmidt was out basically the whole year. Give it time, guys. We'll see what happens, but I like this roster, okay? And I'm not sure they're done adding, but I'll be back in March to talk about it, okay? Like, if they added more, and we'll already be in spring training when I come back in March. I'll see you next month with another edition of Shane's Yankee Podcast. I got nothing else, guys, or else I'm going to just keep repeating the same stuff over and over again. We'll see what happens going forward. I like this roster. It's a deep roster. We got to hope for health. Every team has to hope for health. If you have injured players, good players, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the progression. That's anybody. If you have your best players, you're going to have a good chance. And I think this team has to obviously stay healthy like anybody, and they're going to have a really good chance to win the championship. So, guys, I'll be back next month. We'll see what happens going forward. See you then.